Sporting Journal Radio, presented by Onyx.
Yes, Lake of the Woods, that giant walleye factory in northern Minnesota, mostly known for fishing, and as well it should be. It's one of the best fisheries in the world, really, when it comes to walleyes in particular. But the area around Lake of the Woods shouldn't be ignored either for some incredible cast and blast opportunities. And to tell us more about that right now, Joe Henry is going to join us from Lake of the Woods Tourism. Joe, how's it going?
Hey, Brett, I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's almost my favorite time of the year. It's almost here. I'm excited.
I can tell you're getting in a better mood. I know it's coming up.
Oh yeah, hunting season is very close. Not just hunting season, but cooler temperatures. Like, man, when it gets over 70, literally when it gets over 70, it's unbearable to me. I'm not a fan of it. I like that low to mid 60s is my favorite temperature. Even some of those 50s are getting down into the 40s at night, and we're real close to that kind of those kind of weather conditions here in Minnesota.
Good sleeping weather, as they'd say. You know, it's funny because there's some people that get so bummed out because summer's going away and you know
Right.
what we have ahead of us, right? But you know, if you're an outdoors person, whether it's hunting or ice fishing or fall fishing or whatever the case might be, you got some really exciting things. I think that's even if you really miss summer as an outdoors person, it kind of how do I say it? Kind of greases the skid to slide into fall and slide into winter because you know the great opportunities that are coming.
Well, and obviously I start to think about hunting because I've been doing quite a bit of fishing this summer, so I'm excited for the hunting seasons. But we say this all the time here on this show, and everybody says it too. It always becomes a challenge on what you're going to do when the fall time comes around because fishing gets really good in the fall as well.
Oh, geez. I mean, so yeah, take Lake of the Woods. I mean, first off, you got the fall run of walleyes on the Rainy River, and that's dictated by those emerald shiners that run up the Rainy River. Every year is different. This year the water is low. How's it going to be? Tell you, we get surprised every year, so who knows? But normally there's a great tradition of fall fishing on the Rainy River. Secondly, Big Traverse Bay, that great big open water. We know there's going to be fall fish movements like there is every year. There's going to be a huge schools of walleyes and saugers set up in front of the Rainy River, which is called, Pine Island Lighthouse Gap. They're going to be out in front somewhere. And the technique to be catching them is going to be anchored up and jigging with probably frozen emerald shiners. That whole south shore, all the way from, Morris Point to Zipple Bay to Long Point to Arneson's, that whole shore is going to have pods of fish setting up along that shoreline, kind of gearing up for the winter. And then, of course, the northwest angle. And fishing's been phenomenal up there as it is right now. In the fall, it's really kind of neat because you're fishing the underwater points. You're fishing neck down areas where there's a little bit of current. And sometimes you're even fishing bays, Brett, where those emerald shiners will school up and those walleyes will take advantage of it. So, and that's walleyes. How about muskies? How about pike? I mean, it's just phenomenal fishing. It's so good. And then, of course, shifting gears, we talk about hunting a little bit. And, Lake of the Woods is so fishing centric, especially for walleyes, But I'll tell you something. The hunting opportunities we have at Lake of the Woods, first off, we're not a real expensive area, and we're not that cosmopolitan place where you got to be part of a hunting club to go out hunting on Lake of the Woods. First off, we have 3 species of grouse: ruffed, spruce, and sharptail. And we literally have hundreds of thousands of acres of public hunting land. Hundreds of thousands of acres. It's one thing to have huge expanses of forest that you can hunt on. It's another thing getting accessibility to them.
I'm sorry, Joe. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I know we always fishing gets the precedence up at Lake of the Woods. But I'm looking at this post that we have from Lake of the Woods Tourism Bureau Facebook page, and somebody commented saying, "Well, it was off the radar until this post." Don't give away all of our secrets. It is really truly a lot of property up there, and having 3 different grouse species to go after, that's pretty unique.
Well, it is unique. It is unique, and probably the most sought after is a ruffed grouse, as you know, very good eating.
Delicious.
They call it the chicken of the North Woods, and they're in big numbers up there. You got the spruce grouse, and Brett, have you eaten spruce grouse?
I've never had a spruce grouse actually. No, just I've had Sharpies, but not spruce grouse.
And spruce grouse are going to be a little bit stronger flavor, more of that
Right.
dark meat. So some people harvest them, some people like them, but most people prefer the rough grouse. And then, of course, sharp-tailed. And, how do you like sharp-tailed grouse for eating?
Honestly, I'll cook it almost like I'd cook a duck. You don't want to overcook it. It's you kind of want to cook it that medium rare, pan fry it. That's my favorite way to cook a lot of meat that's got that darker. It's almost in that spruce grouse territory. And cooking it like that, you just don't want to overcook it. That's the biggest thing. No matter how you do it, you don't want to overcook it.
That's a kicker. Those sharp-tailed grouse, they like to hang out in that agricultural area that butts up against the forest land, and just a little bit different habitat. The spruce grouse are a little bit more related to the pine trees, and I think that's one of the reasons they get a little stronger flavor too, is their diet.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, and then of course you get woodcock. And there's a lot of woodcock around. In fact, there's woodcock that live in the area as well as migrate through. So you really have some great opportunities. And then, of course, shifting from – and I should mention, too, that the accessibility to these forests. For instance, Beltrami Island State Forest is a great big hunting destination. Lots of land. And there's dirt roads that go through it. There's ATV trails that you can either take ATVs or certainly walk. And then there's actual dedicated walking trails. The Minnesota DNR combined with the Rough Grouse Society up at Lake of the Woods, they've worked together to create like 2 new walking trails almost every year. So there's spots where you go and you park your vehicle. They have a nice map on a post that shows you the trail through the woods from an aerial view. And when you walk these trails, not only are they in great grouse habitat, they make a great big loop so that when you're done walking this trail, you're back to your vehicle again. Just really a neat opportunity, and it's just unique. So that's grouse. Now we shift gears to waterfowl. And there's a ton of geese in the area. I will say some of the farms are locked up for land. It's a little bit tough getting on some of those farms because families hunt them and things. But I'll tell you this much. The water opportunities for waterfowl hunting in general, duck and goose hunting, it's all over the place. And I don't know if you've ever hunted ducks or geese up on the water, Brett, but I've done the duck hunting on the water up there, and it's cool. I mean, you can go out, set up deeks pretty randomly on some of those South Shore areas of Lake of the Woods or up on some of the points up at the northwest angle and have some of the best darn shooting you can ever have.
I know diver hunting, it's not the same as it used to be just about anywhere, realistically, but it can still be pretty good. And that's one thing I would like to do up on Lake of the Woods is chase some divers around out there in the water.
Well, and I'll tell you, there's also a couple of duck guides, waterfowl guides, up at the northwest angle that actually have layout boat hunting.
Oh, yeah.
They actually go at a Flag Island resort. If anybody
we have to do that. If you're watching, get a hold of me because Joe, you need to hook us up because we need to go up. We'll film a Prairie Sportsman episode doing that up there.
Well, and I'll tell you, Lake of the Woods is a unique body of water. There's only a few bodies of water that you can do layout boat hunting, I think, in Minnesota, Brett, and Lake of the Woods is one of them.
Yeah. They tried to change that. I think that was one of the potential suggested changes for the waterfowl regs this year, but it didn't pass. So there is just a handful. I think Superior, maybe Pepin, Mille Lacs. I think I'd have to check the regs to be sure. I have not yet done any waterfowl hunting out of a layout boat yet, but it's something that's on the list. So that would be a lot of fun to do up at Lake of the Woods. And, as dry as it's been this year, Joe, coming back to the Rainy River and fishing, I know we got some rain this week, some much needed rain this week. But how had the Rainy River been as far as level-wise recently?
Yeah, I mean, if I say low, it's not going to surprise anybody. It's been low, but it hasn't been unnavigable or anything like that. It's lower. So then, naturally, you just got to be careful with navigation. But I will say this, is that when you have less water, your fish are more isolated in deeper holes and things like that too. So in many cases, it gives them fewer spots to hide. So it's been, fishing's been very consistent as far as that goes. We talk the Rainy River, like right now, there's fish all year long in that Rainy River, and it's a multi-species deal. And I'm not saying that that the Rainy River would be my first choice to catch walleyes right now. But I'll tell you what, if it's a blow day on the big lake, I could go in that Rainy River and either pull lead core with cranks down the middle, pull spinners in go-to areas, do a milk run, and chances are you're going to end up at the end of the day with a mixed bag of walleyes, saugers, probably smallmouth bass, some pike. You might catch a sturgeon, you might catch some bullheads, you might get a sucker. But I mean, there's a lot of different kind of fish in the river, and it just amazes me how some people in the summertime just think they can't fish the river. There's no fish there. I mean, my goodness, if the Rainy River, Brett, all by itself was all we had, that would be a really good fishery all year long. Yeah. Certainly, it gets more full of fish in the spring and the fall. But the fact of the matter is, right now, it's a fun fishery.
Dan Amundson is with us, too. Hey, Dan, how's it going?
Oh, doing good.
Dan was telling me before we got you on here with us, Joe, that there was a tournament held recently up there at Lake of the Woods.
Yeah, there sure was. So we had the AIM fishing tournament had the Minnesota Championship up at Lake of the Woods, and once again, I mean, and these AIM anglers are really good. AIM is that catch, record, release format. So all the fish get put back into the lake, which is really neat. And they really battled some wind this last week. They had some really windy weather, so had some big waves and stuff. And I believe the winning team came in with 10 fish that exceeded an average of about, I think, 8 pounds. So once again, it was a real good tournament, and a lot of big fish were caught. And I again, these are really good anglers. They're out there pre-fishing. They're getting these fish dialed in. But when you throw a bunch of wind into the mix, that can really change fish movement. Those fish can move a lot in a day or two. So kudos to everybody for figuring them out.
Well, that's what Dan was saying, is that maybe they had to go in and fish the river a little bit. And I don't know if they ended up catching some of those fish in the river, but it sounds like that was a thought as part of the tournament process this year.
Yeah, I think honestly, I believe that the people that actually won the tournament, I think they're out in the lake the whole time, and I think some people just battled the big waves. They got the boats for it, they got the know-how, and they just took their time. I can tell you from experience that when you're going head to head in big waves, you can go about 13 miles an hour is about all you can push it when you're taking them head on, and you just got to take it slow and be careful. But if you got the right boat, and you got the know-how, and life jackets on, obviously, it can be done. I wouldn't advise it for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, but in a tournament, these people are pretty good. I just saw I saw some of the waves you're showing, and hey, man, when Lake of the Woods whips up, it's it's big water.
So you're saying my 16-foot camouflage painted 25 horse duck boat probably wouldn't have been a good choice that day.
Wait, are you saying you're afraid?
No, because I went through some pretty big waves with it up there when I was up there last time. But we all made the decision that I'm bringing a bigger boat next year.
Did you have your dad with you when you're going through those waves?
I did, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Better be careful there, brother.
Yeah. Well, he caught about the biggest walleye of his life that day, so we made it back safely, and it was worthwhile. And you'll get to see it on an upcoming episode of Prairie Sportsman.
I will say this too. When you talk about season things, if you have a smaller boat, it's good to obviously watch the weather. It's good to have your cell phone charged up in case you ever need help. And it's good to be smart about things. Stay closer to shore. If you need to make a run for the harbor, don't take chances out there. It's really, really big water. And there's other things you can do. You can always go out of an access on the leeward side of where the wind is. You can go in the Rainy River. There's 42 miles of accessible Rainy River. If you're up at the northwest angle, you can always hide behind an island, But again, it's got to be safety first. This is big water, and all kidding aside, it's nothing to screw around with.
And make sure your gas tank's full. That's when you go. That's.
Oh, he's speaking from personal experience.
Of course not.
How about Dan? Does Dan? I got a feeling,
I can tell a story if I'm not going to get kicked off the show.
All of a sudden, Dan's muted. Look at that. Oh, darn.
It's a good thing you brought that up. I haven't seen Dan smile all month.
Yeah, well, I'm stuck at Brett's house. What do you expect?
We'll save that story for another day, Joe. But for now, if people want to plan a cast and blast trip to Lake of the Woods, what should they do?
Check out our website, and that is lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
Hear more at sportingjournalradio.com or wherever you get podcasts. Northern Minnesota's Walleye Factory is a year-round world-class fishing destination. The perfect getaway this summer is just a short drive to Lake of the Woods. Fish Big Traverse Bay, the Rainy River, or visit the unique Northwest Angle. To catch big fish, you have to go where the big fish are. Plan your trip to Lake of the Woods at lakeofthewoodsmn.com. That's lakeofthewoodsmn.com.